Ever imagine using meditation, like, to actually transform chaos instead of just trying to escape from it?
That's a really interesting way to put it.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what we're diving into today.
Okay, cool.
We've got this brand new book, just came out, like, this month by Dr. Aaron C. Waldron, who calls himself a shaman in journey.
Interesting.
Yeah, and the book is called A Shaman's Guide to Meditation. And it's this really fascinating blend of Waldron's personal story with, like, practical meditation techniques.
Yeah, what makes this deep dive so unique is, I think, the perspective, right? Dr. Waldron actually used meditation to navigate a really, like, incredibly challenging childhood. They grew up in New York City's ghettos.
Wow.
So we're not just getting like a textbook view of meditation here. We're really seeing its power in action in like really difficult circumstances.
Okay, so let's dive into Dr. Waldron's, like, origin story then, right? Because it wasn't exactly like the typical peaceful retreat kind of intro to meditation, was it?
No, not at all. Waldron's path to meditation was forged, as they put it, in the fires of a very chaotic and often even traumatic upbringing.
Right.
And I think that this is going to resonate with anyone who's ever thought, like, oh, meditation, that's just for people who already have it all together.
Right, right. It's only for the palm people.
Exactly, yeah.
And Waldron talks about using their imagination as a child, almost like an early form of meditation, to create, like, these mental sanctuaries to escape their surroundings.
Yeah, it's a really powerful testament to just, like, the resilience of the human mind, right? Even when you're faced with really difficult circumstances, we can find these ways to create some inner peace.
Yeah.
And this leads to a really powerful anecdote in the book about a place that Waldron calls the corner.
Okay.
And this is where they were forced to kneel and read the Bible as a punishment.
Oh, wow. You'd think that'd be the opposite of a meditative experience.
Right. But here's where it gets interesting. Waldron actually started using the Bible's rhythm and repetition as like a focusing tool.
Yeah.
So they were almost accidentally discovering like breath awareness and visualization right there in that difficult situation.
And that kind of seems to tie into another key concept that Waldron explores, which is meditation as a ritual. So it's not just something you do to relax, but something that, like, structures your day and connects you to, like, deeper meaning.
And what's so fascinating is that, most of us already have rituals in our lives, right?
Yeah.
Things we do regularly that provide, like, comfort or focus, even without realizing it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And Waldron uses a kind of surprising example, smoking.
Okay, that one caught me off guard too when I read that.
I know.
Yeah.
Now, to be clear, we're absolutely not endorsing smoking here.
Yeah.
But Waldron uses this to illustrate how even something that's, potentially harmful can have ritualistic aspects to it. That moment of pause, the deep inhale and exhale, even a sense of mindfulness for some.
It's a provocative way to, like, look at how we might already have these like, ritualistic tendencies and how those could, like, be channeled into, healthier, more intentional practices.
Exactly. It makes you think about how you can bring that same level of, like, awareness and intention to other areas of your life.
Things get a bit more intense when Waldron brings up the shadow self in meditation.
Yes, the shadow self.
Yeah.
This is the part of us that that we tend to hide or deny, the parts we're maybe even afraid to confront.
But Waldron, drawing on shamanic traditions, doesn't see the shadow as something that's, like, evil, right? They see it as a potential source of wisdom and power if you have the courage to face it.
That's what's so interesting about Waldron's perspective, right? They don't shy away from difficult emotions. In fact, they talk about guilt and mourning as shadow elements that often emerge in meditation.
And that's where it gets really counterintuitive, right?
Yeah.
Waldron argues that confronting those difficult emotions in meditation can actually, like, transform them.
Think about it this way, right?
Yeah.
Guilt can actually become a motivator for positive change, and mourning can teach us about, like, impermanence and help us to appreciate each moment more fully.
Right.
So by embracing the shadow, you can actually liberate yourself from its grip.
Okay, so I think as a learner, you might be thinking, like, this all sounds interesting, but how do I actually do meditation?
Right.
Like, how do I do it? So Waldron offers some beginner-friendly techniques that are really helpful, like starting points. One of the simplest is breath awareness meditation.
And that's a great place to start,
Yeah.
It's a cornerstone of so many meditative traditions, and it's all about focusing on the sensation of each inhale and exhale.
Yeah.
The breath becomes your anchor, bringing you back to the present moment whenever your mind wanders. It's as if you are returning home to the breath.
I love that imagery of like coming back to the breath as a home.
Mm-hmm.
And then Waldron talks about loving kindness meditation.
Mm-hmm.
This one might surprise you.
Yeah. It involves directing well wishes, not just to yourself or loved ones, but also to neutral people.
Oh.
Even people who may have hurt you.
Which can be a really powerful way to cultivate, compassion, forgiveness, let go of resentment.
Exactly. And Waldron even talks about using visualization meditation, something they use as a child to escape their environment.
So it's really about harnessing the power of the imagination, right?
Mm-hmm.
To create an inner sanctuary. And that ties back to Waldron's childhood experience of using their imagination to cope with challenging circumstances.
Exactly. The mind doesn't always distinguish between what's real and what's imagined. So visualizations can have a real impact on your emotional state.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground with Dr. Waldron's personal story, their unique perspective on meditation, the power of ritual, and even touched on some beginner-friendly techniques. But there's so much more to explore. So let's zoom out a bit now and consider the broader historical and cultural context of meditation. It's not exactly a new fad, is it?
Not at all. I mean, we're talking about traditions that go back thousands of years, right?
Yeah.
Think ancient Vedic texts, Taoist and Confucian traditions.
Yeah.
They all embraced meditative practices.
Wow. So meditation's been woven into the fabric of these cultures for centuries.
Exactly. And it's been an integral part of major religions like Hinduism and Buddhism.
I've heard of things like Zen meditation and mindfulness meditation. Are those connected to these ancient traditions?
Absolutely. Zen Buddhism, for example, places a really strong emphasis on meditation as a path to enlightenment.
Okay.
And mindfulness, which has become so popular in recent years. It has its roots in Buddhist teachings as well.
So meditation kind of traveled from east to west.
Precisely. Yeah, it gained popularity in the West during the 20th century thanks to the spread of Eastern philosophies and the work of influential teachers.
It's fascinating how something so ancient has become so relevant in our modern world.
It really speaks to, the universality of the human desire for, inner peace, clarity, and connection. And meditation offers a path to those things, regardless of your background or your beliefs.
Now, Dr. Waldron, being a, shaman in journey, brings a spiritual dimension to their approach to meditation, right? But what about meditation in the context of Christianity? I mean, it seems like a practice more associated with Eastern religions.
That's a common perception, but actually Christian meditation has a really rich history as well. I mean, it's been practiced by mystics and contemplatives for centuries.
Oh, wow.
Think of figures like St. John of the Cross and St. Teresa of Avila, who emphasize the importance of inner prayer and contemplation as ways to deepen one's relationship with God.
Really? I had no idea.
It's fascinating, right?
Yeah.
And it shows that meditation can be adapted to fit different spiritual paths and beliefs.
Right.
At its core, it's about cultivating awareness, presence, and a deeper connection to something greater than ourselves.
Yeah.
That something might be God, it might be the universe, or simply the present moment.
Dr. Waldron has a whole chapter in their book dedicated to preparing for meditation.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of advice do they offer?
Well, they really emphasize the importance of creating a conducive environment.
Okay.
Finding a quiet space where you can minimize distractions.
Right.
It could be a dedicated meditation room, a peaceful corner of your home, or even, a spot in nature.
Yeah, I can see how having a designated space could help you set the stage for a more focused practice.
Absolutely. It's about creating, a ritual, a sense of intentionality around your meditation practice. Waldron also suggests adjusting the lighting, maybe dimming the lights or using candles to create a soothing ambiance.
And what about seating?
Mm-hmm.
Do you need to be a yoga master to meditate?
Not at all. Waldron encourages finding a comfortable posture that allows you to be, both relaxed and alert. The key is to find what works for for your body and allows you to maintain a straight spine.
Right.
You can sit cross-legged on a cushion, kneel on a meditation bench, or even sit upright in a chair.
So no pressure to contort yourself into a pretzel.
No, not at all. It's about finding what feels good for you. Waldron also talks about cultivating a focused mindset before meditating.
Okay.
One of their biggest tips is minimizing digital distractions.
Oh, yeah.
Putting your phone on do not disturb so those
Yeah.
notifications don't pull you out of your practice.
Yeah, makes sense. I know how tempting those notifications can be.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And Waldron also suggests setting clear intentions for your meditation practice, right?
Yeah.
What do you hope to cultivate or gain from this time?
Having a clear purpose in mind can really help you, stay focused and motivated.
Right.
It's like setting an intention before a workout, giving yourself a clear goal to work towards.
That's a good analogy.
Mm-hmm.
And just like with physical exercise, like consistency is key in meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Waldron encourages developing, a regular practice, even if it's just for a few minutes each day. Exactly. Even short bursts of meditation can have a cumulative effect over time.
Yeah.
It's about creating a habit,
Mm-hmm.
making meditation, a non-negotiable part of your routine, just like brushing your teeth or eating breakfast.
That makes sense. But what about those days when, like, our minds are racing with a million thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
How do we quiet that mental chatter?
That's a common challenge, especially for beginners.
Right.
And Waldron suggests not trying to forcefully silence the mind, which can actually make it worse.
Right.
Instead, they recommend observing thoughts without judgment and gently redirecting your attention back to your chosen focal point. Right. It's like watching clouds drift across the sky.
Yeah.
You observe them, but you don't try to control them.
That's a helpful analogy. It makes the process seem less daunting.
And Waldron reminds us to be patient with ourselves.
Yeah.
Quieting the mind takes practice.
Right.
It's like learning any new skill, right? It requires time, effort, and a willingness to embrace the ups and downs. Now, you mentioned breath awareness meditation earlier. Waldron dedicates a whole chapter to this this technique. It's one of the most fundamental and widely practiced meditation techniques.
Yeah, and it seems so simple yet profound, Just focusing on the sensation of the breath.
It really is. The breath is always with us. It's a constant anchor to the present moment.
Yeah.
By focusing on the breath, we can train our minds to become, more aware, more present, and more grounded.
Waldron actually provides step-by-step instructions for breath awareness meditation in the book. Could you walk us through those?
Of course. First you want to find a quiet and comfortable space where you can sit or lie down without being disturbed.
Right.
Create that conducive environment that we talked about earlier.
Okay.
Then assume a comfortable posture that allows you to be both relaxed and alert. It's important to keep the spine straight, but not stiff.
Right.
The idea is to find a balance between effort and ease. So it's not about being perfectly still, but rather about finding a posture that supports your practice.
Okay, so once you're settled, what's next?
Bring your attention to the breath.
Okay.
Notice the sensation of the air as it flows in and out of your nostrils, or the rise and fall of your abdomen as you breathe. The breath is like a bridge between the body and the mind.
Yeah.
It's the point where our physical sensations and our mental activity intersect.
And Waldron emphasizes that it's normal for the mind to wander during meditation. They compare it to a puppy that's easily distracted.
Oh, I love that analogy.
Yeah, it's such a great analogy.
The mind, like a puppy, is naturally curious and playful. It's going to wander off. That's just its nature.
Right.
So how do we deal with that wandering puppy mind?
Yeah.
Gently guide your attention back to the breath whenever you notice it has strayed.
Okay.
Don't judge yourself for getting distracted. Just gently redirect your focus. It's a practice in patience and non-judgment. And over time, with consistent practice, you'll find that the mind becomes, calmer and more focused.
Waldron also talks about integrating breath awareness into your daily life.
Mm-hmm.
What does that look like?
It's about bringing that same sense of awareness and presence to your everyday activities.
Yeah.
It could be as simple as taking a few conscious breaths before starting a task, or noticing your breath as you walk from one place to another.
Yeah.
It's not just about those formal meditation sessions, but about incorporating mindfulness into the flow of your life.
So like creating a bridge between those dedicated moments of practice and the rest of your day.
Exactly. Waldron describes breath awareness as a portable sanctuary that you can access, anytime, anywhere.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So simple, yet so powerful.
It really is. The breath is always with us. It's a constant source of grounding and peace. Now, we know that meditation can be challenging, especially when you're first starting out.
Especially in our like fast-paced world where instant gratification is the norm.
Right.
Yeah.
But Waldron addresses some common challenges like restlessness, discomfort, and distractions, all of which are perfectly normal experiences, especially in the early stages of practice.
Right.
So let's talk about restlessness first.
Okay.
It can be tempting to give up when you feel fidgety or uncomfortable. But Waldron encourages you to view restlessness not as a failure, but as an opportunity to cultivate patience and resilience.
Mm-hmm. So it's about leaning into the discomfort rather than resisting it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Acknowledge the restlessness without judgment, and gently redirect your attention back to your chosen anchor, whether it's the breath, a mantra, or a visualization.
What about dealing with physical discomfort?
Mm-hmm.
I know I've definitely felt some aches and pains while trying to meditate.
Absolutely. Waldron reminds us that the body is not always going to cooperate perfectly.
Right.
And they suggest making adjustments to your posture as needed, using props like cushions or blankets for support. It's about finding a balance between stillness and comfort.
Mm-hmm.
And don't force yourself to sit for extended periods if it's causing too much pain.
Right.
Listen to your body and honor its limits.
And distractions, those seem inevitable in our hyper-connected world.
They definitely are. It's like our minds are constantly bombarded with information and stimuli.
Mm-hmm.
And Waldron acknowledges that distractions are a normal part of the meditation process.
Okay.
View them not as failures, but as opportunities to strengthen your focus. It's like mental weightlifting, right? Yeah. Every time you gently redirect your attention back to your chosen anchor, you're strengthening those focus muscles.
That's a helpful way to look at it.
Mm-hmm. And remember, create a pre-meditation ritual to help minimize distractions, right? Things like dimming the lights, putting your phone on do not disturb, or diffusing essential oils can help set the stage for a more focused practice.
Okay, that makes sense. So we've covered breath awareness meditation in detail. What about some of the other techniques that Waldron explores?
Well, there's mindfulness meditation, which is, gained a lot of popularity in recent years. Mm-hmm. And it's about cultivating a state of non-judgmental awareness of the present moment, noticing your thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations without getting caught up in them.
So it's like becoming an observer of your own internal experience.
Exactly. And it's not just about sitting in meditation. Mm. It's about bringing that same awareness to everyday activities. It could be as simple as paying attention to the sensations of washing the dishes or the feeling of the sun on your skin.
So it's about infusing our daily lives with that same sense of presence and awareness that we cultivate in meditation.
Precisely. Mm-hmm. It's about making mindfulness a way of life, not just a practice you do for a few minutes each day.
Waldron offers some specific advice for practicing mindfulness amidst daily activities. Mm-hmm. What do they suggest?
Well, start with an intention. Before you engage in an activity, take a moment to set the intention to be fully present and engaged. Okay. It's about bringing a conscious awareness to what you're doing, and try slowing down the pace of your your activities instead of rushing through things mindlessly. Take your time and savor each moment.
I can see how that would be a challenge in our fast-paced world, but it sounds so worthwhile.
It is. It's about shifting from a mindset of doing to a mindset of being.
Right.
Waldron also suggests practicing single tasking instead of multitasking.
Oh, that's a tough one. It's so tempting to try to do like a million things at once, in our hyper-connected world.
But Waldron argues that by focusing on one task at a time, you can actually be more efficient and productive. And you can also experience those tasks with more presence and enjoyment.
Right.
It's about quality over quantity.
That makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm. Waldron also emphasizes the importance of engaging your senses in mindfulness practice.
Oh, okay.
It's about paying attention to the sights, sounds, smells, tastes, and textures of your experience.
Mm-hmm.
It could be as simple as noticing the vibrant colors of a flower or savoring the taste of your food.
So it's about bringing a heightened awareness to the richness of our sensory experience.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And these mindful moments can be found everywhere, not just in dedicated meditation sessions.
Mm-hmm.
It could be while you're waiting in line at the grocery store, walking the dog, or even taking a shower.
Right.
And as you practice mindfulness more and more, those pockets of presence will start to expand until eventually mindfulness becomes a more pervasive way of being.
That's a beautiful transformation.
It really is. Now, another technique that Waldron explores is loving kindness meditation. This is a powerful practice for cultivating compassion, empathy, and forgiveness.
We touched on this briefly earlier, but I'd love to hear more about it.
Yeah, it involves directing feelings of love, kindness, and well-being towards yourself and others.
So it's like sending out positive vibes.
In a way, yes, but it's more than just positive thinking. It's about cultivating a deep sense of compassion and care, and Waldron guides you through the process of extending loving kindness first to yourself, then to loved ones, then to neutral people, and finally to those who have caused you pain.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like a gradual process that helps us expand our capacity for compassion.
That's exactly it. And Waldron emphasizes that it's not about condoning, harmful actions, but rather about freeing yourself from the grip of anger and resentment.
Right.
It's about recognizing the shared humanity in all beings, even those who have hurt you.
Yeah, that can be a really difficult thing to do.
It can be, but
Yeah.
but the practice of loving kindness meditation can be a powerful tool for healing and transformation.
Waldron actually provides specific phrases that you can repeat to yourself during loving kindness meditation. Could you share some of those with us?
Of course. Phrases like, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be safe, may you live with ease.
Those are beautiful and powerful words.
They are, and they can have a profound impact on your emotional state and your relationships with others. Waldron also highlights the importance of self-compassion, especially when extending loving kindness to those who have hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
It's about recognizing that everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah.
Everyone is capable of causing harm, and everyone is worthy of compassion, including ourselves.
So it's about recognizing the shared human experience, both the light and the shadow.
Exactly. And by cultivating compassion for ourselves and others, we can create a more loving and compassionate world.
That's a beautiful vision.
It is. Now, another technique that Waldron explores is visualization meditation.
Mm-hmm.
This is a powerful technique that harnesses the power of the imagination to cultivate peace, healing, and even manifestation.
So it's about creating mental images.
Exactly.
Huh.
And Waldron emphasizes that the mind doesn't always distinguish between what's real and what's imagined.
So those visualizations can have a real impact on our emotional state and our beliefs.
Absolutely.
So how do we actually practice visualization meditation?
Waldron suggests finding a quiet space and relaxing your body before you begin visualizing. Then close your eyes and imagine a place or a scene that brings you a sense of peace, joy, or inspiration. It could be a beautiful beach, a serene forest, a cozy cabin in the mountains, or even a childhood memory that evokes, feelings of happiness and contentment.
The key is to choose something that resonates with you and evokes those positive emotions.
Right. Engage all of your senses in the visualization. Imagine the sights, sounds, smells, tastes, and textures of your chosen scene. Make it as vivid and real as possible.
So it's like creating an immersive experience within your own mind.
Exactly. And as you visualize, repeat affirmations to yourself, statements that reinforce your desired outcome or state of being.
So for example, if you're visualizing a successful outcome to a project, you might repeat to yourself, I am confident and capable. I am achieving my goals.
Exactly. Those affirmations help to program your subconscious mind and align your energy with your desires.
That's powerful.
It is. And don't forget to feel the emotions associated with your visualization. It's not enough to just picture something in your mind. You need to also feel the joy, the excitement, the gratitude, the sense of accomplishment. Those emotions add power and energy to the visualization.
That makes sense. It's like we're embodying the experience that we're visualizing.
Exactly. And finally, trust in the process. Believe that your visualizations are planting seeds that will eventually manifest in your reality. It's about having faith in the power of the mind to create your desired experiences.
It's about aligning our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs with what we want to create in our lives.
Exactly. Now, Waldron also talks about using visualization for specific purposes, like enhancing focus and concentration.
So how can visualization help with that?
Well, they suggest visualizing yourself successfully completing tasks or projects.
For example, if you're struggling to focus on writing a paper, you might visualize yourself sitting at your desk, fully absorbed in the writing process, effortlessly flowing from one idea to the next.
Exactly. And by seeing yourself as focused and productive, you can actually start to embody those qualities in your real life.
It's like we're training our minds to focus and be more productive.
Exactly. And visualization can also be a powerful tool for managing stress and difficult emotions.
How does that work?
Waldron recommends visualizing a place or a scene that brings you a sense of calm and peace. It's like creating a mental escape route, but it's more than just escaping. It's about shifting your emotional state by focusing on something positive and soothing.
And the more you practice visualization, the easier it becomes to access that state of calm, even in the midst of challenging situations.
Exactly. It's like building a mental muscle.
Okay, so we've explored quite a few meditation techniques now.
We have. And it's important to remember that meditation isn't a one-size-fits-all approach. There's so many different techniques to explore, and what works for one person might not work for another.
Exactly, and that's one of the things I appreciate about Waldron's book. They encourage us to experiment, to be curious, and to find what resonates with us.
Absolutely. It's all about finding a practice that supports your unique journey and helps you cultivate greater peace, presence, and well-being in your life.
Speaking of finding what works for you, Waldron dedicates a chapter to addressing common challenges that people often face when they start meditating. It can be helpful to know that you're not alone in those struggles.
Absolutely. A lot of people start meditating with the expectation that that they're supposed to be able to quiet their minds completely and achieve a state of blissful serenity right away. But that's rarely the reality.
Yeah, I think a lot of people get discouraged when they realize that their minds are actually pretty busy and chaotic.
Exactly. And that's perfectly normal. The mind is naturally active. It's constantly generating thoughts, feelings, and sensations. So one of the first challenges that people often face is restlessness.
It can be tempting to give up when you feel fidgety or uncomfortable, especially in our fast-paced world where instant gratification is the norm.
Right. But Waldron encourages us to view restlessness not as a failure, but as an opportunity to cultivate patience and resilience.
Okay.
Acknowledge the restlessness without judgment and gently redirect your attention back to your chosen anchor, whether it's the breath, a mantra, or a visualization.
And remember that you're training your mind, just like you would train your body at the gym.
Exactly.
It takes time, effort, and consistency to build those mental muscles.
Another common challenge is physical discomfort. It's not always easy to sit still for extended periods, and sometimes our bodies just don't want to cooperate.
Yeah.
Waldron suggests making adjustments to your posture as needed, using props like cushions or blankets for support. And about finding a balance between stillness and comfort. And don't force yourself to sit for extended periods if it's causing too much pain. Listen to your body and honor its limits.
And of course, distractions are a major challenge for a lot of people, especially in our hyper-connected world. You know, it's like our minds are constantly bombarded with information and stimuli.
Waldron acknowledges that distractions are a normal part of the meditation process. View them not as failures, but as opportunities to strengthen your focus. It's like mental weightlifting. Every time you gently redirect your attention back to your chosen anchor, you're strengthening those focus muscles.
And one of the things that Waldron emphasizes is that it's not about stopping the mind from wandering. It's about learning to gently redirect it back to the present moment whenever it strays.
Exactly. It's a practice in patience and non-judgment.
And remember that you can create a pre-meditation ritual to help minimize distractions. Things like dimming the lights, putting your phone on Do Not Disturb, or diffusing essential oils.
And throughout this process, Waldron really stresses the importance of self-compassion. It's about treating yourself with the same kindness, understanding, and forgiveness that you would offer to a good friend.
It's so easy to get down on ourselves when we feel like we're not, doing it right. But that kind of self-criticism just adds more stress and makes the practice harder.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So remember to be patient with yourself. Meditation is a journey, not a destination. It's about progress, not perfection. Celebrate the small victories and embrace the challenges as opportunities for growth.
It's about showing up for yourself day after day, breath after breath, and trusting that the practice will unfold in its own time.
Exactly. Now, as we wrap up our discussion of the techniques and challenges of meditation, I want to shift gears a bit and talk about how Waldron views the role of meditation in cultivating wisdom and insight.
This is something that really stood out to me in the book. Waldron emphasizes that meditation isn't just about relaxation and stress reduction. It can be a powerful tool for self-discovery and spiritual growth.
Absolutely. They encourage us to use meditation as a way to deepen our self-reflection. Take the time to really examine your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. What patterns do you notice? What beliefs are driving your actions? What are your strengths and weaknesses? It's about becoming more aware of who you are at your core.
It's like holding a mirror up to ourselves and really seeing what's there, both the light and the shadow.
Exactly. And then Waldron encourages us to question our assumptions and beliefs. It's about challenging those deeply ingrained patterns of thought that might be limiting our perspective.
It's about getting curious about why we think and believe the things we do, and being open to the possibility that there might be other ways of seeing things.
Exactly. And they also recommend exploring different perspectives. Read books, listen to podcasts, have conversations with people who hold different viewpoints. It's about expanding your understanding of the world and challenging your own biases.
So it's about getting out of our comfort zone and being open to new ideas.
Absolutely. And study sacred texts or teachings from different wisdom traditions. It's a way to connect with the wisdom of the ages and gain insights from those who have walked the path before you. And seek guidance and mentorship. Find teachers, mentors, or spiritual advisors who can offer support and guidance on your journey. It's about recognizing that you don't have to do this alone.
That's so important to remember. We don't have to have all the answers. It's okay to ask for help and learn from others.
And finally, remember that cultivating wisdom and insight is a lifelong process. It's about being open to learning, growing, and evolving throughout your life. And meditation can be a powerful tool to support you on that journey.
It's about approaching life with a beginner's mind, a sense of curiosity and a willingness to learn and grow.
Exactly. Now, before we wrap up our deep dive into A Shaman's Guide to Meditation, I wanted to highlight one more aspect of the book that I found particularly powerful. Waldron's emphasis on the importance of integrating meditation into daily life.
This is something that I've struggled with in the past. I would have these really great meditation sessions, but then I would, step off the cushion and feel like I was back to square one.
I think a lot of people can relate to that. It's easy to compartmentalize meditation as, something we do for a certain amount of time each day, but then we kind of forget about it in the rest of our lives.
Yeah. But Waldron really challenges us to see meditation as more than just a practice, right? Wow. It's a way of being.
Exactly. It's about bringing the principles of mindfulness, awareness, and compassion into every aspect of our lives.
So it's not just about those dedicated meditation sessions. It's about living a more mindful life.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And Waldron offers some really helpful suggestions for how to do that. They talk about incorporating mindful pauses throughout the day, take a few conscious breaths before responding to an email or answering the phone. It's about creating those mini moments of presence and awareness.
It's like hitting the reset button on our nervous system and bringing ourselves back to the present moment.
Exactly. And Waldron also talks about bringing mindfulness to routine activities, things like brushing your teeth, showering, or doing the dishes. Instead of rushing through those tasks mindlessly, bring your full attention to them, noticing the sensations, the movements, the details. It's about finding those opportunities for mindfulness in the mundane.
It's about making the ordinary extraordinary.
Exactly. And another practice that Waldron recommends is mindful eating, slowing down, savoring each bite, and paying attention to the flavors and textures of your food.
Yeah.
It's about appreciating the nourishment that your food provides and cultivating a more mindful relationship with your body.
It's so easy to eat mindlessly, especially when we're busy or stressed, but mindful eating can be such a transformative practice.
Absolutely. And you can also incorporate mindful walking into your routine. Instead of just rushing from point A to point B, slow down, pay attention to your steps, and notice the world around you. It's a beautiful way to bring mindfulness into motion and appreciate the simple act of walking.
It's like we're turning our everyday activities into mini meditation sessions.
Exactly. And finally, Waldron suggests cultivating a practice of gratitude. It's about taking the time to appreciate the good things in your life, both big and small.
It could be as simple as being grateful for a warm cup of coffee or a beautiful sunset.
And they recommend incorporating gratitude into your daily routine, maybe by keeping a gratitude journal or simply taking a few moments each day to reflect on what you're thankful for.
Yeah, those practices of gratitude can have a profound impact on our happiness and well-being. They help us to shift our focus from what we lack to what we have and cultivate a more positive and appreciative outlook on life.
It's about focusing on the abundance rather than the scarcity.
So to wrap things up, what are some of the key takeaways from our deep dive into A Shaman's Guide to Meditation?
Well, first and foremost, Waldron reminds us that meditation is not just for monks or mystics. It's a practice that anyone can benefit from, regardless of their background, beliefs, or lifestyle.
Exactly. You don't need to be a spiritual guru or live in a monastery to experience the benefits of meditation.
And meditation is not about escaping reality. It's about showing up for yourself and your life with more presence, awareness, and compassion.
It's about being fully present in this moment, in this body, in this life.
And view meditation not as a chore, but as a gift,
Right.
that you give to yourself, to your loved ones, and to the world.
It's a beautiful way to look at it.
And finally, Waldron reminds us that meditation is a journey, not a destination. It's about progress, not perfection. Embrace the ups and downs, the moments of clarity, and the moments of chaos. Trust that every breath you bring awareness to is a step towards greater peace, wisdom, and connection.
I love that. So if you're listening to this deep dive and you're feeling inspired to explore the world of meditation further, I highly recommend checking out A Shaman's Guide to Meditation by Dr. Aaron C. Waldron. It's a powerful and insightful book that could change your life, and who knows, maybe your next deep dive will be into the depths of your own inner world.
Give meditation a try and see what you discover.
It's kind of amazing how meditation, this ancient practice, can have such a profound impact on our modern lives, right?
It really speaks to the universality of the human experience, I think.
Sure.
We all have this innate desire for peace, clarity, and connection. And meditation offers a path to those things, no matter what our lives look like on the outside.
Yeah, and one of the things I've been kind of thinking about as we've been talking about Dr. Waldron's book is how meditation can be seen as a form of self-care. It's a way of nurturing ourselves, both mentally and emotionally.
That's a beautiful way to look at it. And it's something that Waldron emphasizes throughout the book. Meditation is about taking the time to connect with ourselves, to listen to our inner wisdom, and to cultivate a sense of compassion and understanding for all parts of ourselves.
It's like we're creating a safe and supportive space within ourselves where we can heal, grow, and transform.
Exactly. And that inner transformation can then ripple outwards into, our relationships, our work, our communities.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into a shaman's guide to meditation, I'd love to hear your final thoughts on the book and what you hope listeners will take away from this conversation.
I think what's so inspiring about Waldron's book is that it offers such a fresh perspective on meditation, one that's rooted in both ancient wisdom and modern experience.
Right.
It's not about adhering to rigid dogma or striving for some unattainable state of perfection.
Yeah.
It's about embracing the messiness and beauty of the human experience and finding ways to cultivate greater peace, presence, and purpose in our lives.
And one of the things that I found particularly empowering about Waldron's approach is their emphasis on the transformative power of meditation. They really highlight how this practice can be a catalyst for personal growth, healing, and even social change.
Absolutely. They challenge us to see meditation not just as a way to relax and de-stress, but as a way to awaken to our full potential and to create a more just and compassionate world.
So if you're listening to this and feeling inspired to explore the world of meditation further, I highly recommend checking out A Shaman's Guide to Meditation by Dr. Aaron C. Waldron. It's a truly transformative book.
And remember, the greatest journey you'll ever take is the journey inward. Give meditation a try and see where it leads you. You might be surprised by what you discover.